everyone, how you all going? Welcome to my review of Obsession. Now, this is a new horror movie written and directed by Kari Barker. Now, him and Cooper Tomlinson were both actually YouTubers. They've got a channel, they've got their channel on YouTube, and Kari Barker previously directed Milk and Cereal, which I haven't actually seen. That was released straight to YouTube back in 2024. Obsession, on the other hand, was released in theatres. What I think of the movie, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic horror movie. Now, plot is very straightforward. This will contain spoilers, by the way, so if you haven't seen the movie and intend to watch it, please stop watching. Go watch the movie, come watch my review after. But essentially, in the movie, Bear plays a kind of like a nerdy, geeky type of guy, and he works at a music store alongside Nikki, who's got a major crush on, Ian, Sarah, and then essentially Nikki invites Bear out to a pub crawl. And while she's on the phone to him, she drops her necklace down the drain. But then Bear tries to get her a new necklace shortly after the death of his cat. Actually, at the beginning of the movie, we see Bear suffer a slight tragedy. His cat ingests these pills of his and actually dies. His cat Sandy. But he tries to buy Nikki a new necklace, but essentially he instead buys a wishing willow. And then after driving Nikki home, she gets out of the car, and then he makes a wish that she'll love him more than anything in the world. And then he breaks the wood, so that's part of that's what the wish, how it actually works. You make a wish, you break the wood, and then the wish is meant to come true. Well, it's not really believed it will come true, but he breaks it, he thinks, what the hell? But then Nikki comes back to the car, starts acting very strangely, and then she confides in Bear. She tells him her father's dying of cancer, who she doesn't actually speak to in the movie, we find out. But then quickly they go back to Bear's house, they start kissing, and Bear becomes worried he's taking advantage of her. And then further down the track, Nikki starts acting out. Her personality drastically changes. And then during a date, Bear's shocked to find out that during a date that the two have, Ian actually calls Bear and tells him that he found out that Nikki's father does not actually have cancer and that she lied. And on top of that, we find out that Nikki told Sarah that she only ever saw Bear as a friend and nothing more. And then further down the track as well, Nikki causes more scenes, and then she actually ends up killing Sarah because during a night, Ian invites a bunch of people over to his house, and he tells Bear that Nikki can't come, but then Nikki comes anyways. Long story. But then at the night out, Nikki becomes highly jealous because during a game of Jenga, Bear draws this block which states that he must kiss the person next to him, who in that scene is Sarah. So then she causes a big scene. She drags Sarah's chair back, and she goes and sits next to Bear, and then she causes a major scene. She inflicts an injury on herself, and then Bear drives to the hospital. And then Bear tries to actually see if his wish can be altered because deep down, even though he knows Nikki is not herself and she's twisted, he's still desperate to actually remain with her. But he finds out the wish can't actually be altered, nor can he actually make a new wish. And he buys another wishing willow. He tries to make a new wish to cancel out his current wish, finds out he can't. But then he actually ends up asking Ian to make a wish to reverse his wish, but then Ian doesn't believe Bear about the whole wishing willow and that they're real. So then Ian actually wishes for $1 billion, which actually does come true. And then Nikki, after having already killed Sarah, she ends up actually shooting dead Bear. So then, not Bear, sorry, she shoots dead Ian. And then Bear ends up locking himself in the bathroom, and he tries to, and then because in the movie as well, he finds out that the way to actually cancel out the wish is to actually kill himself. So then he contemplates shooting himself dead. He instead consumes a large quantity of oxycodone pills. And then in that scene as well, Nikki makes a wish that Bear will love her more than anything. So the final scene's actually them two embracing, and then Bear collapses into the floor and dying. And then after that happens, Nikki returns back to her former self after Bear's death, and then she starts grieving, and then we don't actually know what happens after that, whether or not she's blamed for Bear, Ian and Sarah's deaths, but yeah, the final shot is her crying. So I'll start off with what I actually liked about this movie. Indy Varant's performance as Nikki was fantastic. I hope I pronounced her name correct. Her performance in this film was top notch. She was superb in this movie. Um, the other actors did a very good job as well. But yes, Indy Varant as Nikki was a standout. She was highly chilling, menacing. Definitely one of the best horror movies I've ever seen in a movie. Or definitely one of the best female performances I've ever seen in a horror movie. The first 10 minutes, if I'm being honest, could have been a little bit better. I think they could have actually established the characters a little bit better in the first 10 minutes. It's the first scene, just it automatically jumps to Bear practicing asking out Nikki, or like a bit more backstory, how they know each other, their history. So I think the first 10 or so minutes could have been a little bit stronger in actually establishing the main characters. The movie did have some very good jump scares as well, actually. One that definitely caught me off guard. So a couple of jump scares, one very gory scene as well when Nikki actually kills Sarah by slamming her head against a brick on the steering wheel. Inside her car, Sarah's car. But overall, really enjoyed this movie. Very suspenseful, chilling. A couple of gross scenes as well, especially there's one scene when Nikki is staring at the front door of Bear's house for about 10 seconds. And then as she's standing and creepily smiling, she starts peeing. So yeah, a couple of gross scenes, gory scenes, but overall I would give this movie an 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 on a scale of 1 to 5. Go watch it, go support it. I think if you're a horror fan, you'll definitely love it. Even if you're not a horror fan, I think you will definitely, I definitely believe you might get some enjoyment out of it. For me personally, an 8 out of 10. Not the best horror movie ever made, but without a doubt, probably the best horror movie of 2026. I did also enjoy Scream 7, unpopular opinion, I know. I did also enjoy Ready or Not 2, but yes, Obsession was a banger from start to finish, except for the first 10 minutes or so, but overall really enjoyed this movie. Go watch it, go support it, and stay tuned for more movie reviews very, very soon. Be sure to subscribe. Catch you in the next one. Bye.